Hi everyone. Have you ever wondered how you can use embossing folders in your craft studio? I find embossing folders are the workhorse in my craft room. So stay tuned and I'm going to show you some creative ways to use embossing folders in your stamping and crafting. Hi there, my name is Anne Cowan. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Ottawa, Canada, where we have beautiful sunshine today. And it's making the lighting in here a little bit weird, but that's all good. So I've noticed that Stampin' Up! Has released a lot of really nice embossing folders lately. And so I thought I would just jump on and show you some different ways that I've used embossing folders and how they really can be the workhorse in your studio. Because an embossing folder can be used instead of designer series paper. It can add some focal points to your card, or it can just add a little pop of a design element. So I'm going to switch over to my hands. Just a couple of reminders though. It is the time during February to redeem your coupons. If you purchased in January, you would have received coupons with a qualifying order from Stampin' Up! They come in an email, so you can just check your email. And there's a code that you can add to your order so that you can redeem those now. It's also a great time to join Stampin' Up! As a promotional element for this starter kit promotion. You can get the Stampin' Positioner tool absolutely free. I was playing with it on my desk. That's why it's way back there. So great time to join. If you have any questions or you're thinking of joining for the discount, just check out my website, maryannecowan.com, and there's lots of information there. All right, so let's go over to my desktop, and we are going to look at some of the different ways I've used embossing folders. So first of all, let me just show you some of the new ones that have been released lately and some of my favorites. So just recently released to demonstrators, not customers. That's one of the perks of being a demonstrator. You are able to pre-order products a month ahead so that you can make samples to show your customers and I can share with you on YouTube. So Stampin' Up! Has released some recently, and there's a few of my favorites that have been released in the last little while. So I'm just going to show you. I'll show you the folder and then one that I've done because I went ahead and embossed some papers. So this one's called Ladybug Picnic. It goes with a new bundle release that we have with little jam jars. It's totally cute. Here it is. I've just embossed it in Lemon Lolly. So hopefully you can see. So this one I would say is a deep 3D embossing folder. Some of them are more subtle. This one is, I would say, a feature element on a card. So that is Ladybug Picnic. So I don't know if you can tell, but the little ladybugs are here, and then there's little flowers. There is a coordinating designer series paper that goes with this as well. I think it's the exact same motif. So that's the first one. This one has been around for a little while. It's called Stone and Vine 3D embossing folder. Again, this one is, I would say, a feature element. It has very raised leaves and then the stone in the background. So also a really nice one to use. I haven't used this one as much. This one I have used a lot. So this is a subtle one. It's called Beautiful Pattern Embossing Folder. And if you follow me, you'll know I've used this on a lot of cards lately. So it is more subtle. You can use it over top of designer series paper. I'm going to show you a sample where I used it on some washi tape. Oh no, it was a different one. Or you can just use it on cardstock. So beautiful pattern. Love it. And when I say workhorse, I mean, if you have an embossing folder, you can use it with so many different products, so many different designer series papers or styles of cards. This is another one that's was in the last release. Lovely stripes. And here's what it looks like. So it has stripes and it has dots. I will say I did try to use it with vellum, and it did tear at the crease marks. So maybe I used it with the wrong platforms. They're all different. This one is not a 3D embossing folder. So you have to play around with them to see which plate works the best with it. A little bit of trial and error. This one is Hearts of Love 3D embossing folder, and I'll show you a card that I made using this one. It's really pretty. This would be a beautiful, of course it was released with Valentine's Day, but it would be a beautiful wedding background for a card. I'll have to try that. All in white, I think would be really nice. And then this one, I can't tell you how often I've used it. It is called All in a Row. It's an example of it done in lemon lolly. So it has little dots, stripes, and little flowers. Really, really cute. So that's that one. And it is a thinner one. So I used a different plate with that one. And then one of the ones we're going to be trying out today is called Lazy Daisy. I just got this one, so it's on pre-order. Lazy Daisy 3D embossing folder. One trick with embossing folders is sometimes you like to emboss and then die cut an element. So for this one, I die cut first, and then I put the little piece back in. Then I embossed it, because when you emboss, you can tell it's raised up. If you run it through the Big Shot again to die cut something out, it's going to squish down some of this 3D effect. So I always die cut first. You'll see on this one, die cut first, and then send it through the embossing folder. So just a little trick on that one. All right, let me show you some of the ways that I've used embossing folders. So for this one, I use I'll never remember all the names, the All in a Row. And for this one, I've just used a little strip along the side, and it was to cover up the little piece of fresh freesia I had there. So here it's used as an accent piece. So there's a pretty card. For this one, I used it instead of using designer series paper. So this is the 3D brick and mortar. So here I've embossed this size of the arch and added it on top. It just gives it a different feel. You could also emboss this designer series paper. That would be beautiful embossed. Here's another way you can emboss. So again, using the All in a Row. And then I've just taken a blending brush and then just colored in the squares that had the flowers on it. Really simple and cute card. Using that cute little bunny. I stamped him on velvet. It was a bit of a trial. You do need to give it a little bit extra time to dry, but it's totally cute. Okay, this one was one I had made last year with a different vellum that we had. So I just thought I'd try it again with 2 embossing folders. So there I have those hearts. And then when you open it up, I have the All in a Row. And what's fun about vellum is you can see through it. So these ones were fine. They didn't tear or anything. So I love the design of this card. It's just kind of fun the way it opens up. So there's that one. And then I did the same idea with an embossing folder on vellum. Here's the snowflakes. And we have a lot of snow where I live. And there's that one I was telling you about. Beautiful, beautiful pattern embossing folder. So there I have vellum and there I have white cardstock. So just a really nice card design. Of course, I did the envelope. Here's an example of embossing on, this is the washi tape. So the washi tape on cardstock. And then I've embossed this whole piece. And I've also embossed the side. And for the side one, I have the stripes going up and down, vertical, and here I have the stripes going landscape. So just a really pretty simple card, but you can see how the embossing really adds a nice design element. Here's those cute little Valentine bears. So for this one, I did embossed a whole 4 by 5 1/4 piece sheet. And then I just cut a 1-inch strip for the inside and this is a 3-inch strip for the front. And so you can see how the elements continue across. So another cute card. And of course, you can do just a background. Use an embossing folder and just do a background of a card. This one was the leaves from one of the autumn bundles. So I've just used it here with the cute as a bug set. There's also a nice one called birch, which gives you a nice wood grain look on the embossing folder. So those are some different ways that you can use embossing folders. They're very, very versatile. So we're going to do 2 cards today, one using it as a background and this one using it as the focal point. So for this one, what I've done is I've embossed white, just a piece of white 4 by 5 1/4. One thing I will tell you about embossing folders, and I forgot to check my glue, so let's just all hope it's going to work. I do find white glue works the best, but if my white glue is not cooperating, we will use Stampin' Seal. Because it has this is debossed and the other side is embossed. I'm going to switch to this. I usually like to use green glue, but let's just use Stampin' Seal. So I'm just going to add this to the front. I'm hoping I'm going to add it the same way because I did manage to line up. So I want this to be, I want to do something first. I almost forgot. I'm going to take some linen thread. This is a very simple card. I'm going to take some linen thread, and that's good. No, that's a little bit much. I just want enough to tie a bow. I'm going to wrap it around twice, and then we'll just cut it. And I'm going to tie a bow, but I have glue all over it, so I'm going to put it down first. I do want those to be a little straighter. This one just really reminds me of spring, and we've had a bit of a long winter here. So I am looking forward to some flowers. It'll be a long time before I have flowers in my garden, but a girl can dream. So white on white. And then I'm going to tie a bow, but I'm going to do that in a second. So then what I did, I showed you the piece that I die cut first and then put through the embossing folder so I didn't squish it all. And I'm going to see if I can line it up. It's not going to go perfect. That's fine. So I'm going to add it here, but I want this underneath. And then we're going to do a little bow there. So this I'm going to pop up with dimensionals. I'm going to go ahead and try the bow. Try tying the bow right here. That's a very big bow. One thing about linen thread, it's easy to adjust. So I want the bow kind of near the edge. That's kind of far from the edge, but it's all good. So totally simple card with just embossed on embossed. So just another really simple way to highlight the embossing folder because this one is really pretty. You could also go and take a blending brush and color some of these or blender pens. But for now, I'm just going to add this little element right here. And then I have sending flowers and sunshine because this is all flowers. Now you could just glue this down, but I'm going to pop it up. So you can emboss any color of cardstock, you can emboss vellum, you can emboss designer series paper, anything you want. All right, I like that. It's very simple. So then we're going to try adding some of these new garden epoxy dots because I liked the little flower. But I also like just the little dots. You could go and add little dots, like you could add dots to one row of the flowers. I'm wondering if I have. All right, I'm changing my mind. And I'm going to add one dot. I'm going to pick a row and add one dot to the middle of each of these daisies. I'm going to use this, it'll be easier. Take a pick tool. So in the middle of that one, the middle of that one. These ones go in a nice row. So you kind of have to look at the embossing folder and see how it's going to work. Okay, I really like that. That's cute. All right, sending flowers and sunshine. And it's a card made of flowers. And the yellow reminds me of the sun and sunshine. So that's a really simple, cute little card. We totally changed our minds on the dots, but that's okay. That's what happens when you're creating. Okay, so that's our first card. And our next one, I saw this one, actually, this is Cased from Michelle Litwiller. And I just thought it was a cute design, so I'm going to recreate it. And this is Retired. I just saw it, and it was fresh freesia, so I thought it would be perfect on our little lamb because it goes nice and small, and I want just a little tiny bow for underneath the little lamb's neck. So let's just go ahead and put that. You might have that in your stash, or you could use anything. You could switch it out and put pink and use our really cute pink ribbon that we have right now. So basic white card base. Let's fold it in half. If you're joining me, let me know where you're joining from. If you're watching the replay, I appreciate it. And let me know where you're joining from. So here's this embossing folder. You can see how it does shrink up the paper a little bit, so it's a little bit smaller. So let's just go ahead and glue this on. Now, this one, you kind of have to look to see the embossed, debossed, and embossed. So the little dots are poking up on that side. So we'll go ahead and put the glue on this side. Yes, that's what happens sometimes. I find sometimes if I go too heavy on it, it does that. All right. Just made a mess over there. All right, so line it up straight. One thing about the green glue is it allows you a little more time to change things around. So then we have vellum. Let's try this glue. Oh, that's good. So we'll put a little bit there, and we can add some in a second. And then this is from the Lovely and Beautiful paper. So that's going to go there. And then we have our little lamb. So we're going to add some color to her. This is going to be her cheeks with light bubble bath. And then a little bit of pink in her ears. I'm going to take a glue dot and attach her head to her body. And on a little bit of an angle, because she's a curious little thing. So now I see where I can add more glue to my vellum so that it's not going to leak. Put a little bit down here. Okay, so she's going to go there, but I'm going to tuck that in like that. And I'm going to pop her up. Thank you, whoever's watching. That's from a little sticky note that I used to use the punch. So she's going to go there. Oh, geez. Helps if I pull off the back. And then I'm going to pop this up as well. Just put 2 on for now. So cute. Such a simple design, but it's so cute. And then for the sentiment, I picked "You're simply fabulous." I love the puns and the play on words in this stamp set. So that's going to go right there. And we're going to just put that down. Now, this was the little bow that's from the stamp set, and I think I want to use the other one I made, which I've lost. Oh, here it is. Let's see which one we like better. I am a ribbon girl, so I'm going to go with this one. Now, you will notice that it's fuzzy on that side and this one's turned over. You can do a lot of mechanical work to try to get it turned around, but let's try and see. By mechanical work, I mean just moving it. I guess it's not really mechanical. So I'm going to put another glue dot right here so that this side is up. All right, let's try that. This was really cute ribbon. There we go. You're simply fabulous. So cute. All right, let's get our other glues out of the way. And we'll look once again at all the different ways you can use your embossing folder. So I've showed you, do we need any little, I'll just usually pull whatever I have beside me. I think I'm going to go with some of these white ones. Take a pick tool. Just put a couple. Oh, a little one. I usually go big, little. I think I need to pull out some more. I can use my fingers. Big, little, and then a big one down at the bottom. All right. Let's take a look and see some of the ones that we've created. So these are the 2 new ones I just made. And then I'll bring back the other ones just for a quick little rundown in case you're just joining. So embossing folders, they're awesome. They're amazing. They are so versatile. You can use them on cardstock. You can use them on designer series paper. You can use them on vellum. Be careful on vellum. Some of them are quite deep, so they do tear the vellum. As this one, I did try on vellum and it did tear kind of in the creases, but maybe if I tried it again, it might work. So here is the new, get my cards here. Need a bigger workspace. Lazy Daisy, available now to demos. That's a great reason to become a demo. You get to purchase everything early. So Lazy Daisy, available to customers in March. So there's how it embosses. And I love just the little accents of the 3 little daisies. This one is Lovely Stripes Embossing Folder, available now to customers. All right, so those are the 2 we made today, and let's just review some of the other ones that I showed you. So here you can use it as a background, as I did here and here. Here I used it as a background, but I cut it and used it on the front and the inside of the card. Here I embossed washi tape that was on top of white cardstock. And here I used an embossing folder for the front and the inside of the card. So I used vellum and I used white. So just mix it up a little bit. Same here, I used the heart embossing folder and then the all in a row embossing folder. So vellum and vellum. Here I used the all in a row, but took some color and added it to just the squares that had flowers. Here I added an embossed piece to the inside, the smaller of the arches. Tuck that in there because we're going to run out of space. And here I just did it as an accent on the side of the card. So embossing folders are your friend. And I highlighted some of the new ones. This one's available in March. Some of the other ones are available now. And the Ladybug one is also available in March. So grab yourself some embossing folders. They last forever. And well, they last forever. Embossing folders last forever. And you really can use them for so many different things. There are also a lot of techniques that you can do using embossing folders, such as adding color to the embossing folder. And I've seen people add embossing powder to the embossing folder. So lots of different ways that you can use embossing folders. But that's my ideas for today. You can visit my store at maryannecowan.com/shop if you would love to purchase any of these embossing folders. And I do appreciate it if you like or share my video. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification button so that you will know when I post a new video. Thanks, everyone, and have a great weekend.